EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the BioWare Classic.
It is just an ideal day for golf. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. We're getting set for all the action this afternoon at Wetlands Golf and Country Club in Florida. And this is certainly a challenge, Frank.
It is. We really should rename it Drylands because that's the way you want to play this golf course. If you're not dry, then you are going to be wet. That swampland is just all the way around this golf course. In between it, though, is fairway. So fairway, the goal all day today.
And as always, with the state of Florida, you have to factor in the changing winds.
Picking him up live now at the 10th.
Just a solid performance to this point in the second round, Frank.
Yeah, it's been good. Really, it's been a fun watch. Sadly, the scorecard doesn't reflect the standard of golf we're seeing.
And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green.
Good-looking shot right here.
About 18 feet away with a decent look. so close.
And yet it still counts for another shot.
And getting ready for the putt. Frank, this has been an absolute mess today and all week long.
You said it best.
Par 411, Frank, we're looking at 443 yards.
Yeah, the Wetlands Golf Course is a really good driving course. This is I'm going to play. But Wetlands becomes very difficult when you just start to stray a little bit off the fairway. Then you start to see why those bunkers are put there.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait, and at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Nice play right there. That's in pretty close. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Well, that's just a poor putt, Frank, and now let's hope he doesn't make Michael Dublé.
He's hardly going to be singing after that one.
So a tester from 4 feet. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
Just a little tap in here. Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. In this case of anything that could go wrong, not just probably, it did. Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie.
Rich, you know, after you've already made one mistake in the rough, there's a chance he's going to make another.
Just trying to get it back out into the fairway and not make a big number.
Good recovery shot. Couldn't make the green, but at least he's back in play.
Played the smart shot right there. Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
He's already at a handful. This is 5th shot. And Frank, that steady play continues.
Rock solid. Excellent approach shot.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Don't leave it short. Wow. Trying to put this hole behind him quickly. Double bogey putt. Ouch, that hurts. Double bogey. Here we go at the par 4 13th, 452 yards. What's the best angle of attack?
The straight line really is the best way here, like a lot of holes on the golf course. But straight, as we know, is not often easy. Fairway does start to widen up the further out there you get it. So for the longer hitters, this hole actually plays relatively easy. For the shorter hitters in that narrow area, that'll leave you a lengthy second shot where you just might have to bisect the 2 front greenside bunkers.
Just a bit offline.
Yeah, the hard work's coming up now, though. It's a long way away.
Birdie try again here today. speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good.
Shouldn't be a problem here. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars.
A very quick exit, miscut, not the only one there, but surprising.
The weekend now to regroup, just didn't hit many good shots.
This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Set in the Sonoran Desert and surrounded by the majestic McDowell Mountains, we're at the stadium course at TPC Scottsdale in Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, set to bring you all the action for today's event. Frank, when you think about the TPC Scottsdale, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The golf course has been radically changed in 2014, but it still hasn't lost its luster. Really, it's just been updated like the game itself for these young, strong players of the modern era.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Not too bad, about 25 feet away. Settles in over the putt. Oh, so close.
That was a good run at it, Rich.
These putts keep the round together. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Clean this up with a tap. Well, with that drop shot, moves to 1 over for the tournament.
Fifth hole,
and we pick up the action. Frank, what have you seen in the early going from our featured golfer?
A little bit of a struggle, unsurprisingly, really. Rich, just a little messy. This wasn't to be expected. Time to sort of tighten all the screws there, have a rethink, and try and put some red numbers on the board.
Frank, just a slight miss off the tee. He's in the fairway bunker.
Yeah, just really got to pick the right club once again. Sometimes you take a little bit more club out of the fairway bunker, choke down.
The second shot. And that one lands in the first cut, Frank.
Interesting choice coming ahead here. It'll be interesting to see how he reads this lie.
Ends up in the first cut, and he'll have a pretty good look at the hole location from here. How about that shot right there from that lie in the rough to knock it that close? That's good. Just for par. Just didn't have the speed. So, 2 over par for the round. Par 4 sixth, and Frank, a couple of options here.
Yeah, a hole that bends to the left. A draw is the preferred shot off the tee. The longer hitters will have a big advantage. They'll be able to get it down there and just have a pitch or a short wedge into this. If you're not, well, that long, then you're going to have to lay it back short of those bunkers. That's going to leave a lengthy second shot. Second shot. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. Frank, that was a pretty good shot right there.
Yeah, he's done well to minimize the damage.
That's costly right there.
Painful.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Not his best effort right there. That's a bogey, and now 3 over. Now to the second par 3 on the front 9. This is the 7th hole.
Yeah, quite. And therefore you can open up that green, because the further back you go, the wider it gets.
That is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. A shot you think you could hit directly at the flag. Now, test for the short game.
Just a little offline, so now, Frank, he's going to have to deal with a rough.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how strong he is.
He's hit the green, but his work is by no means finished. A difficult putt coming up from about 25 feet. Well, once you hit double the par, it's time to just pick up and move on. Frank, the par 4 8th, this is a good hole.
It is. A dog leg to the left forces the player to go out the right, and this will play every inch of its yardage, which is over 470 yards. Green's still pretty much the same with that false front, unless there's a flag position in the front. You're really going to have to fly at least 20 yards or so into that green, otherwise that ball is going to run towards the front.
This is the second shot at the par 4. Tasty looking right there from just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Come on, you have to make that, don't you? Drop shot here at the 8th. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Frank, you know what gets me about this game? Here a person makes a legitimate effort, makes a good stroke, and that ball spins around and is just laughing at the player. And now what's left, you can breathe on that ball. It counts the same as a 300-yard drive. It's not right.
But it's the beauty of the game.
Here at the par 4 9th hole, Frank, what's the strategy off the tee?
Well, there's one bunker down the right side that you have to be very wary of. 325 yards to carry that, so it's very much in play, and just over 290 to reach it. Ideally, you have to go left about that down the left side. But really, this is a second shot hole because this green is not very deep. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. That one ends up in the rough.
Oh, that went sideways.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means.
Well, that's a smart shot. A lot of people would have tried to be a little more heroic from there, but there was no need.
Back on the fairway, back in play. What was he thinking there?
I have no earthly idea.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
Frank, anything you do differently from the rough in terms of your swing? Do you hinge the club a little bit more quickly?
No, normally put the ball just a little bit further back in your stance because you want the club to be going down. Down, it's got to go down through the grass, through the ball.
Well, that'll do it for day number 1, and a tough start for some of those who were hoping for better things.
Yeah, slow start, surprisingly, really, and hard to put your finger on why because we saw a lot of good golf, but now, outside looking in, we'll need to play well tomorrow.
This is EA Sports. PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Simply put, there is nothing like it in the game of golf. It is by far the biggest spectator event in the sport. We're at TPC Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. And Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
Well, everybody wants to know about 16, the famed par 3 here, surrounded by those skyboxes. Once we're familiar with the golf course, it's now changed. 2014, the designers Morris and Weisskopf did a massive renovation.
Well over 100,000 fans every day, better than 500,000 for the week. It's a giant party mixed in with a heck of a tournament.
Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
And setting up here in the rough.
That's a tough lie to come out of. Not surprising it's come up short.
Well short right there, but still in the game for a par. All right, now another shot from the rough.
Yeah, this time better be better than the one we just saw.
Frank, not close, but from that lie, not bad.
No, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Tough start to the backside, Frank.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well, too. You start losing confidence with the putter early on.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did.
A great way to start a hole, nicely placed in the fairway. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Headed for the bunker? In the bunker, still with a chance for an up and down. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really, you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
12 feet still to go. Well, not in contention, but in for par. 12th hole now, looking at 192 yards, par 3.
Won't quite play that distance because that tee shot is considerably downhill. But you really have to be cognizant of the wind if it's coming off the left, because it easily brings that water into play down the right should that tee shot just start moving with the wind.
Second shot, good look at the green. Solid play, heart of the green. Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. Wow, that's disappointing. Chance to get too deep on one hole and you leave it short.
Well, the good thing is he didn't miss it, right? It didn't go past the miss. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Okay. Still has a chance for birdie, too.
Right, okay. I like that positive attitude.
Oh, man.
They just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. That's messy. That's a double bogey. Par 5 13th, chance for birdie or maybe even eagle if you're bold and brave enough, but also, Frank, chance for disaster here?
Well, there is. Water very much in play down the right side. There's a bunker down the left too. If you finish up in that, there's no way you're going for this par 5 and 2. Then it becomes a little bit of a zigzag mission. The second shot either has to be hit down the right side, just skirting that bunker in the front, or it has to be all carry.
And from the fairway for his second shot here. Wow, way to the right here.
And there's rough over there.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. This requires a lot of speed through the ball. He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie shot. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. That's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. Trying to limit the damage here. This putt is for bogey. That's the idea. Just knock it in. Par 4, 14th, Frank. It seems as though you'd be pretty happy with a par here.
You would, even though the putting surfaces here at TPC Scottsdale are excellent. It's going to take 2 good shots to reach this 14th hole. You can get in a little bit of trouble off the tee. That bunker on the left very much in play. The rough on the right side is no snack either, because the ball, more often than not, will finish well above the player's feet. And of course, that green is very, very narrow, well protected by bunkers on the left.
Frank, this is where a round can get away. You've just knocked it OB.
Yeah, that shot's never going to come back now. So he doesn't want to compile the error.
So now he's playing his third shot, Frank, after hitting it OB.
A good tee shot, though. So see if he can string a couple of good shots together now.
So the golf ball ends up in that first cut. It's a little bit less than 2 inches. You can see the golf ball. Should be able to get at it, but may not be able to control the spin. We'll see. Good thing he stayed in the first cut, because just a couple of feet over, that rough is really deep.
In the direction of the sand.
And looks like it. Well, we've seen this before today, in the bunker. Well, bunker play is really about technique and feel. The 2 greatest ever are probably Gary Player and Seve Ballesteros. Seve actually was so good, he was so skilled, that he could open up a 3-iron, that's right, a 3-iron, on a short bunker shot from a green side bunker and splash it to a couple of feet as if he had just used a 60-degree sandwich. Amazing. Drops not 1 but 2 shots with that double bogey. Frank, too many missed shots and now a missed cut.
Yes, it's disappointing, but the experience gained from playing this course really will be invaluable. Now's the time, just pick your head up and move forward. There's always another week.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Now we go down to the action at the first. Stepping up to the first tee, Frank, what are some keys to be thinking about at this point?
Really got to pick a decent target. Really focus in on that. Don't really worry about left and right. Nice, good full swing. Slow, if anything, off the first tee.
Frank, it may be obvious you'd rather have a ball sitting up perfectly in these fairways as opposed to the deep rough off to the left or right. But how is a player able to take advantage when he has that good lie?
Well, anything better than that would be sitting on a tee. That is a perfect lie. It almost guarantees good contact.
That one is in the bunker. Great knees, great hands in this shot.
Yeah, touch. You have to have that feel. You have something between the ball and the club face. So it's a different feel, but you also have to have imagination.
Well, in the sand, but it has been raked nicely, looking for something positive. Love that bunker shot. What's the key to good bunker play, Frank?
Using the bounce, that little sort of aerofoil on the bottom of the club, when you use that, it has a different sound. And you'll find it's much easier to get the ball out of the bunkers than what you first thought.
So that's a bogey, and now to 1 over par for the tournament. Here at the 231-yard par 3 second, Frank, pretty good hole.
It certainly is, Rich. The carry on the right side's a little shorter, but if you're going to take it down the left side, you've got to fly that ball at least another 20 yards.
Frank, there's fairway, there's rough, and then there's mulch.
Yeah, the worst thing about the mulch is all these little chips around the ball, and that's so the ball doesn't sit up. And once again, this shot might look easy, but if you just miss it a bit, it so exaggerates the outcome.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
All right, in the bunker now. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Pretty good shot right there. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, you couldn't hit that much better.
Frank, now to the third hole here at Bay Hill. If you have a case of the snap hooks, you're in some serious trouble here.
You're going to run out of golf balls here as well, but a good tee shot's going to leave you something like 150, 160 yards into a very narrow green.
Well, that was a beautiful drive, Frank. Really good position to take advantage.
Sitting up beautifully in the fairway.
The second shot now to the par 4.
How are you, man?
Looking good, Frank.
I think it's wet.
In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brutal out there.
Well, this is always one of the toughest moments in any round. You've made a mistake, you hit it OB, you're disappointed, but you have to regroup, you have to focus, and try to get this next one in play. Now, this will be counted as the fourth shot after going OB on that previous shot. Oh boy, a drop shot here at the third. Wow, not what we expected. 5 over in the early going. And we pick up action at the fourth. It has not gone all that well early in the round for our featured golfer. What do they need to do, Frank, to turn this thing around?
Well, you can't dwell on what's just happened. There's plenty of holes ahead. Look at the scorecard, par fives to play, things like that. Really pick apart this golf course. There's going to be plenty of opportunities around the corner.
Second from an excellent lie. Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. On the green, and a chance for birdie. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Well, you couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Oh, man, just slides by. And only a tap in left. Good putt. Clean this up with a tap. So after all that, it's a bogey. Well, that'll do it for today. Not a great performance, not on the first page of that leaderboard.
Yeah, the people on the top of this leaderboard are there for a reason. They hit more fairways, more greens. It sounds easy, and I know this is a difficult course, but that's the way it's going to have to be played.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Its second round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo back at the fourth. It's the first par 5 on the golf course, Frank.
The litmus test is that first bunker on the left side. If you can get it past that, you've hit it over 330 yards.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. And that one lands in the first cut, Frank.
Interesting choice coming ahead here. It'll be interesting to see how he reads this line.
Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again. Well, it's a little absurd, that, Rich. The shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. Just in the first cut of rough, not a bad lie. The only issue is he might get a jumper here. Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. Something about this hole, it has not been kind. Bogey yesterday and staring at another one today. Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. Frank, now to the fifth. What's the strategy here at this shorter par four?
Well, if you want to flex your muscles, Rich, take it over that left bunker. With a little trailing breeze, you might even get close to the green.
Oh, man, not a good shot at all.
It was wicked. That's a tough lie to come out of. Not surprising it's come up short.
Well short right there, but still in the game for a par. He'll need to be strong with this. So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, whom you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, it was, they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or two. Aim the club at that and made sure they followed through.
Frank, back in 1998, by any chance, do you remember exactly how many golf balls John Daly hit into the water at the sixth?
It was half a dozen. Half a box of golf balls.
That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. Wow, lucky break right there, Frank.
Well, that's what everyone else is going to say, except him.
Playing his third here at the par 5.
Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Frank, this looks tough. He's on the macadam, but for a high-level professional?
Well, he's taken the wrong path, Rich.
That looked like a miss hit, Frank.
The lie was okay. It's a little surprising. Maybe wrong club.
This is fifth shot. What a nice shot. Right on the green and a pretty easy putt on the way. Getting set now over the putt. Just misses. That's about as depressing a moment as there is in golf. When you miss the bogey putt, you know you're staring at double. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Well, you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Now at the par 3 7th, Frank, it's just under 200 yards.
It's still quite daunting. A very narrow entry on that left side. So you've got to hit the ball flush off the tee. Really guarantee a carry of that over that right bunker. So it's still a daunting tee shot.
And to generate some momentum here at the 7th hole is for birdie. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Pretty good effort right there. These putts keep the round together. Frank, that is nothing more than a punch to the gut.
Oh, it's cruel, Rich. Good putt and deserves so much more. Another shot added, though.
I mean, it takes the wind right out of your sails. And that's a bogey. Frank, how about the 8th par 4, one of the more intriguing setups?
Ideally, you want to just work your tee shot away from that bunker. But this is one fairway you must hit, because it's one of the toughest second shots on the golf course.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Set up in the fairway, 200 yards from here. Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Pretty good shot. That ball settles in about 13 feet away.
You'd like to think unlucky for some, but birdie putt coming up.
Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more.
Well, not in contention, but in for par. Finishing up here on the front side at Bay Hill with a lengthy par 4. What's the key, Frank?
Well, the hole's relatively flat, but the rough on the right comes into play. If you can carry that ball 300 yards, then just take it in over the bunker.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Second from an excellent lie. The Arnold Palmer Invitational is one of only 5 tournaments given what they call the invitational status by the PGA Tour, and consequently, it has a reduced field of only 120 players. The normal size of a tournament is 156.
And the strength of the field that they get year in, year out, it just validates Arnold Palmer's stature in the game.
Koruma mı gitti? Dedim şey düşündüm, kulaklık düşündüm. Kulaklığın gittiğini düşündüm. Affedersin. Ay, lanet bu ne ya? Bu ne ya? Habire yapıyorum.